Hello and welcome to the video. Now during lockdown we're having to resort to bodyweight training and using those 5 kg dumbbells that you found at the back of your shed that you bought for Christmas once when you were 10 years old. Now some people are just pretending and thinking that the weight's heavy enough for them. But just like any other problem, you have to first admit there is a problem before you can take steps to overcome it. Hi, hello, my name's Tom, and my dumbbells are too light. So yeah, we could just go out there and buy heavier dumbbells, but as you know, heavier dumbbells are about as rare right now as me telling a funny joke, and they also cost an absolute fortune right now. So what can you do? Well, there's actually quite a few things that you can do, and we want to make sure that we're keeping the intensity high so that we're not going into this muscle maintenance, and I mean, we want to be building muscle still, right? Now in order to create that intensity you have to do something called overload. Now you probably have heard of overload before, when you're breaking down the muscle tissue so it can repair and build and get bigger and stronger. And most people create overload by adding more weight, which is absolutely fine, it works and it's a great way to do it. But when you don't have the weight, then you have to be a bit more imaginative and you have to create overload in different ways. First things first though, I did want to just say that bodyweight training is a great way of training. So don't be sitting there thinking that bodyweight training isn't going to get you muscle gains and it isn't a great way to train, because it is. I'm not going to go into it in a huge amount of detail in this video because I'm going to save that for other overload techniques, should we say. But if you did want help with any bodyweight exercises or workouts, then go to my channel. I've got plenty of videos on bodyweight training, and yeah, just go and check it out, it should help you. Anyway, my first solution for you to create overload and to keep making muscle gains is to do same muscle supersets. Now you've probably all heard of what a superset is. It's where you do one exercise followed by another with no rest in between. But what I'm encouraging you to do is to do same muscle supersets, because you can actually do supersets any which way you want. So you could do like a bicep curl superset with a calf raise if you wanted to. That would still be a superset. But what I'm encouraging you to do is do the same muscle supersets to really create that overload and keep that intensity and to properly target that muscle, because that is going to make that 5 kg dumbbell feel like 50 kilograms. So if we look at biceps as an example and we look at bicep curls, a superset that you could do would be bicep curls, just a normal bicep curl, and then you could follow that with a hammer curl. So that would then complete your set. So you'd do 10 reps on the bicep curl, then do 10 reps on the hammer curl as an example. Try and keep in the 8 to 12 rep range. And then you would have a rest for say 1 to 2 minutes, and then you would go again for a total of 3 reps as you normally would do. So for shoulders you could do lat raises followed by front raises as an example. So that is one way in which you can get started in creating that overload, and it's going to really make that 5 kg dumbbell feel a lot heavier. So as I said, you want to still be aiming for the same amount of reps on each exercise as you normally would do. And also notice that I'm doing isolation exercises, meaning only one joint is moving at a time, as opposed to compound exercises, which leads me nicely onto my next solution for you. My next overload technique is something called pre-exhausting or pre-fatiguing, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to help you to get the most muscle building potential from your big compound lifts, such as a bench press or deadlift or a squat. Now what you're going to do is do something very similar to a superset, except the order in which you do things is very important. So you're going to start off with your isolation exercise first and then go straight into your compound movement. The idea behind it is you are picking a muscle that you wish to target, fatiguing it or exhausting it initially, and then the compound movement is then going to help to create that overload on the muscle that you're looking to build. So an example of this would be doing lat raises as your isolation to fatigue your shoulders, then followed by your compound movement of a overhead shoulder press. And if we're looking at a chest as an example, you would initially do your isolation movement of chest flies, followed by your bench press or press up, something like that. So you are going to want to be doing the same amount of reps, just like in a superset, as you normally would do. There's going to be no rest in between the exercises, and then you're going to rest after you've completed both exercises. So my next overload technique for you is something called partial reps, or some of you may have heard of it as being called 21s. So what this is, where you break down a rep into 3 sections. So you'd have one section being the lower or outer portion of the rep, another section which would be the upper or inner portion of the rep, and then the third being the full range of the rep. So the most common use of this is with bicep curls. So what you would do is you would do 7 reps on the lower portion of the rep, then you would do 7 reps on the upper portion, and then you would do 7 reps on the full range of the rep. So that would total 21, hence where the name 21s come from. So there'd be no rest in between the 3 portions. You would do the lower, upper and full range, then you would rest, and again complete that for your 3 sets as you normally would do, but obviously the reps structure is going to be slightly different this time. This is also a great technique for big compound lifts. So for example, with a squat, you may be slightly weaker in the lower portion of the squat. So it allows you to focus on weaker areas and do more reps on that particular part of the movement to help with the entire rep, I guess. So it is a great way to break down a movement and focus on the areas where you're potentially weaker. And it's actually a technique that I haven't used for a long while, but doing this video sort of reminded me to do it. So I'm going to try and now fit it into one of my workouts somehow. So my final solution for you is giant sets and trisets. So this is like supersets, except you're going to condense your pretty much entire workout into just a few sets. So what you're going to do is you're going to do 4 exercises back to back with no rest if you're doing a giant set, and then you guessed it, 3 exercises back to back with no rest if you're doing a tricep. Each exercise is going to be targeting the same muscle, and it just is going to do it in a slightly different way. So you don't want to be doing the same exercise over and over again. You want to be just targeting the same muscle, but maybe a slightly different angle each time. So if we take your lats as an example, I could do bent over row followed by pull-ups followed by low reverse fly, and that would then complete a tricep, 3 exercises back to back. And if I wanted to do a giant set of 4 exercises, then I could add in chin-ups or pullovers maybe. You'll then rest for a little longer than usual, so say 2 or 3 minutes, and then you would then do it again and repeat that for a total of 3 sets. And I can guarantee you doing that is gonna be killer, and it's going to make that light weight you've got feel much heavier. So there you have it. No longer can you complain that you do not have heavy enough weights at home. You have got plenty to go out there to create that overload, to be able to build muscle even with light weights. It isn't all about the weight. It doesn't always equal heavy weights equals bigger muscles. That is a myth. It's not true. Form and technique is much more important. If you found this video useful, please hit the like button. Yep, did that in the right order. And if you want to hear from me again and, you know, maybe you want to see more of my content, then hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next one. Bye.